Hello everyone, I got kind of a long video today because I'm going to be talking about my top 5 comics of 2025 since I started reading in August as a new reader of reading DC, and I'm going to be talking about a lot of comics, not just my top 5, but I have my top 5 though right here, and I'm going to be talking about these at the end. I don't think anyone can really guess what my number 1 is, but before we get into that, I have a couple honorable mentions. And the first one is this is what I'm currently reading right now. It's called The Animal Man by Grant Morrison. I have been really enjoying this story. And like I said, as a new reader to DC, I actually knew nothing about this character, and I've been really loving the story so far. It might be my favorite DC comic. It actually might be my favorite comic in general, or not my favorite, but probably my second. And it just depends how it ends, but so far I've been really enjoying this one. I also started reading this because it was written by Grant Morrison, and I really enjoyed All Star Superman. That was my first DC comic, and I really liked it a lot. I haven't stopped thinking about it since I read it, and I just wanted to read another story by Grant Morrison because I was kind of thinking he might be my favorite writer, but I haven't decided yet. I need to read more. That's why I got Animal Man. And another honorable mention I want to talk about is this is like my first major crossover that happened. A lot of people were actually talking about this when it happened. Deadpool and Batman. So this was Marvel's run, and this is DC's run that I got. And they're both variant covers, but I didn't know this at the time. But this is like a, what is it called? Like a blank cover is what they're called. I didn't know that there's a specific name for that. I thought this was just like an exclusive thing for Deadpool because he's red. So I just wanted to mention that because, like I said, I thought that. But some of the variant covers, they actually let you see what the original cover looks like underneath. So I kind of like that about some of these. I'm really glad I got this. And as I was mentioning Grant Morrison, this one was actually written by him, which is pretty funny. The month that I was thinking about he might be my favorite author, then the Deadpool thing drops, which is pretty crazy. Okay, now I think it's time to talk about the big 5. My top 5 of 2025. As a new reader, like I said, I started reading in August. So these are like from the new issues that started then. But I feel like this was a really good year to start reading as a new reader because there's a lot going on in comics right now, especially with DC. As I'm going to be talking about what is going on with them. Marvel has a couple things, but their Ultimate Universe is ending, and that's kind of bummed out a lot of people because there were some people who were into it. I'm not sure how big it was for the Ultimate Universe because I know the numbers for DC's, but I don't know anything about Marvel's. That's why I'm unsure because I actually do think it's weird that they're ending it right now. I wish they weren't because, man, DC is kind of killing it right now. And let's talk about it real quick. My top 5. My number 5 is Absolute Martian Manhunter. This is my first Martian Manhunter comic. I haven't really seen much other ones. I don't think he's really have any stories. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been to the stores and I haven't seen any comics besides Absolute Martian Manhunter, and even then there's only like a few copies. But I just wanted to talk about this one too for a little bit because this was originally only going to be 6 series, and here's the hardcover. This came out this year too. Well, this even though this series started, I think in 2024. Like I said, this just came out this month, and this released, I think, last month. But this is the first 6 issues in here. I did review the first 6, but why I mention this is because it was originally going to be 6 issues, and due to popularity, they decided to do another 6. So this is the beginning of the next 6. I'm really enjoying this new start to it. And like I said, the artwork has been amazing. I have been, in my first year of reading comics, I have been incredibly spoiled because this is good artwork. And there's a lot, like I said, a lot going on in DC. And this was a good continuation. I'm really glad they decided to continue it for another 6. I'm going to try to keep up with the single issues. Maybe they'll continue another 6 if it keeps going, because I'm really enjoying this series. It's a good take in the Absolute Universe because of this story. Now everything doesn't feel so different, or everything does feel different. My bad, I said that. But like I said, because of this story, it really makes it feel. It really does make it more feel like a universe, because other people's stories are like, this is a lot different from Absolute Batman and Superman. So that's why I really like this story. I can't wait to see John actually meet the rest of the gang. But yeah, that's my number 5, and I feel like it was well deserved. But anyways, here is my number 4. This is a big one. I've recently seen people starting to complain about this, and I'll be honest with all of you guys, I don't care what anyone says. I've really been enjoying it. And my number 4 is DCKO, a DC Comics event. Like I said, I've only been reading comics for 4 months in DC, and I'm already in my first event. And I gotta say, it's been really cool. Uh, Superman's actually my favorite. You know, because I have this one sealed, I'm just going to open up this other one real quick to show it off. Because I just don't feel like opening it. I don't have it sealed for any purpose. But I've been really enjoying this series. Superman is my favorite DC character. So it helps a lot that this first event, he's the main character pretty much. Or it's being told from his point of view. And out of all the issues I've ever collected, especially the singles, this cover, it's amazing. I can't believe there's actually a cover like this. It really makes it help. It really helps it stand out. And like I said, this first crossover event has been amazing so far, and it's been so good. I've been even trying to get the tie-ins. The only tie-ins I have so far are a Flash issue and Superman. I haven't read this one yet, but I did read this. This provided a lot of good context for what happened, and it set up a lot of Lex's motivations. I really liked it, and I also started getting Knife Fight. I need issue 2, but I can't find it. But Knife Fight is really good too. I really liked it. I've heard some people say they don't enjoy all these tie-ins or whatever, but I'm actually kind of into it. I'm surprised. And because of DCKO is spawned fight month. This month has been nothing but fights at DC, and I got almost all of them except for round 2. I can't believe I didn't get round 2. I don't think I'll be able to. I think it's gone. So I might have to read it digitally. And like I said, Superman's my favorite character, and I just got to say, I think he's going to go far in the tournament, but I don't think he's going to win, because the whole rules of the tournament and everything that it's going for and what it's testing them, it all goes against Superman's morals and everything he stands for. He's even struggling to start the fight in the tournament, so that's why I don't think he's going to make it that far. And I haven't read any of these rounds yet, just so you guys know. That's my predictions, and I honestly think Lobo's going to take it. I don't see how he's going to lose to anyone on the bracket. Uh, like I said, I only have 4 months of reading. You guys could let me know your thoughts, but like I said, I don't see how he's going to lose to any of these guys. But I haven't read round any of these rounds yet. I'm planning to, after I make this video, I'm going to read all this in one day. I'm just going to go through it. I'm actually pretty excited to do that. But this is round 1, Superman versus Captain Atom. Round 2 was Aquaman versus Hawkeye. Here's round 3, Wonder Woman versus Lobo. As much as I love Wonder Woman, I don't see how she's beating Lobo. I just can't see it. And then Cyborg versus Swamp Thing. This is the only variant cover I got because this was like the best one. And my Comic Shock doesn't really stock too much on the DCKO stuff, which is why I had to get there really quick. But I'm glad I got them all. Anyways, this is round 5, I believe. Harley Quinn versus Zatanna. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. And then round 6, The Flash versus Green Lantern. More specific, this is Jay Garrick versus Guy Gardner. I'm pretty sure that's Guy Gardner, but I'm really excited for this one. I'm actually rooting for my boy Jay here, but I don't think he's gonna win, honestly. But I can't wait to see that. Here's and then there's Lex versus the Demon. I'm pretty sure Lex is going to make it all the way. Like I said, I think it's going to come down to because there's different brackets, and in this bracket, Lex and Superman are in the same one, and I think theirs is going to end with them fighting at the end, and Lex is going to beat Superman, and I think that's what's going to happen because it would tie in with actually let me grab it real quick. Lex winning would actually tie in with what he told Superman in this issue. So that's why I think it's going to come down to that. And it's going to come down to Lex versus Lobo. But like I said, I don't see how Lobo's going to lose. And I feel like Lobo fits what the heart of Apocalypse is looking for. And then here's the last round. Round 8, Red Hood versus the Joker. I can't believe DC did that. That's insane. It's diabolical almost. I really hope Red Hood takes this one. And I can't wait to sit down and read all those tomorrow or after I upload this video. But DCKO has been awesome. I've been enjoying it so much. I can't believe some people have been complaining. I've been loving it. And I don't care what anyone says. I really like it. But then again, like I said, I wanted to let you guys know about my bias because Superman is obviously the main character. It's talking about his struggles, his point of view. So that kind of helps me like it. But anyways, I believe we're on the top 3. These are big ones too right here. All right, so my number 3 is Absolute Wonder Woman. Specifically the first team up in the Absolute Universe, issue 15. I actually did a review of this one because I was so excited. I couldn't wait to talk about it. I also like how in the Absolute Universe the arcs are labeled so you know what they're called. I like that a lot. This is a good beginning. I talked about the paneling in the review because Absolute Wonder Woman has really good paneling. I think this series also started in 2024, but this issue came out in 2025, and this also came out in 2025, the hardcover. The first 6 issues, I'm currently reading through them, just so I know her character. This is my first Wonder Woman comic, and it's quite an introduction to her character. I really like her. I like her a lot. I'm not sure if main timeline or mainline Wonder Woman is like this, but if she is, she could be one of my favorites. She actually might be one of my favorites. Because, like I said, I haven't read mainline Super or Wonder Woman, but I really like her. And something I noticed about her series is her paneling is a lot different from any of the other comics I've ever read, besides the Absolute Universe. The panelings are different. You're not going to get the same thing on every page, which I really like. And I didn't talk about this in my review, but right here at the end, I just wanted to talk about it at least once. When she's talking to Batman, and she says, "Don't you think we should make friends with the Superman too?" The panel is making his crest, Superman's crest. I really like that. That's a sick detail. So I had to put this in the top 5 because man, I love the paneling work. I really enjoy it, and this is a good series. Wonder Woman is actually well written. I like all of her abilities. I like how this is like the main timeline or the mainline Wonder Woman. Her rope makes you tell the truth. Hers burns you for the amount of sins you've committed, which is pretty cool. Like I said, I really like her. Yeah, that's my number 3. And now let's go on to my number 2. My second comic of 2025 was Absolute Batman Annual. This was a crazy prequel. What I really liked about it is it explained a lot about Bruce's character, and something about the Absolute Batman is that this one, he still loses his father, but in this universe he got to spend more time with him, so he got to have more conversations and learn more about his father. And this shows how much Bruce respected him and how much he hangs on to every word that his father said. And in this story, it was trending because of what he did in this story and how far he went. I actually do think he did. I do think he went too far, but this has one of my favorite double spreads in it. If I had to make a top 10 list of double spreads, this one would be in it. But it really shows how much he cares about his father's words, because after he did everything, he breaks down at the end. And I've been keeping up with Absolute Batman, and I haven't seen him break down over anything. And some pretty, honestly, some fucked up shit happens to him, and I haven't seen him cry over anything. But in this, yeah, and this also shows you how he gets his Batmobile, which was really cool. This year, they also released this hardcover, which is how I've been keeping up with it. Like, it's only the first 6 issues. I've been wanting to do a review of it. I just haven't had any time because of everything that's been coming out. And also, I just wanted to mention that another big release was Absolute Batman, the Joker Origin. This was also kind of trending. It wasn't as big as this, because I saw this trending a lot. A lot of people in the comic book community were talking about it, but I also saw this getting posted on like Facebook, and YouTubers were making videos who weren't even like comic book YouTubers were talking about it. But this was trending for a while too. I just think it's impressive that every time Absolute Batman drops an issue, it like trends, at least for a day or two, I've noticed. And I just think that's really impressive. And I know it might be shocking to a lot of people that Absolute Batman's not the top or the number one. And I don't, like I said, I don't think anyone can guess it. And this number one release was a surprise to me because I didn't know it was actually dropping. I just saw it at the shop one day and I was just shocked. And my number one is Batman Static Beyond. I can't believe Static is actually back. I was, like I said, I was shocked in the shop, and I had to grab it. This is the variant cover. I had to get it because look how cool Static looks. Batman looks pretty cool too. I really like Terry. This is the Terry from the animated series, as you guys might have seen, and he's drawn the exact same way. And the thing that I liked, this adult Static is the same exact Static from this story right here. So I'm so happy I ended up reading this because they talk about his origin in this, and some characters from this story show up, which I was just amazed. Oops. And I can't believe I don't, like I said, I was just so surprised to see this on the shelf, and I'm glad Static's back. I didn't think he would be back in a new comic, and like I said, DC's been doing a lot of good stuff this year, and a lot of people might be shocked to see Static above Batman, even though Batman's technically in this crossover, but this might also be surprising. And I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but Static is probably my second DC hero over Batman for sure. I know that might be surprising to a lot of people, but I really enjoy Static. People always say Blue Beetle's like the Spider-Man of the DC universe, and I never understood that take actually, because I always thought Static was. Because Static is hilarious, man. Even as an adult, he's still cracking jokes, and Batman's still trying to tell him to keep it together and be serious. So, like, it's so funny how he's an adult, but their roles haven't really changed much. But, anyways, guys, that's my top 5. I have all my comics scattered everywhere, so now I can't grab them and show them off. But, man, I'm really enjoying Static. issue 2 wasn't at my comic shop, which I'm really I was really sad about, because that tells me this isn't as big as a series as I thought it was going to be, which I'm not surprised. I don't actually see a lot of people talk about it in the community. But anyways, that's my top 5. I hope you guys all enjoyed. This was, even though I only had even though I caught the tail end of the year of the last 4 months, this was a really good 4 months of reading comics, man. And I really look forward to the next year.